It's coming on a year since we had Apex's last crossover event where they created a whole new rarity, and it's got a lot of people questioning if Respawn are going to do any more. So I looked into the history of Apex crossovers, and it turns out we've actually had a fair amount in Apex's lifetime. And maybe from Apex's history of crossovers we can figure out if they're going to do any more. Apex's first crossover skin was actually a crossover with one of Respawn's other games, Jedi Fallen Order, and this tiny crossover promotion happened on December the 3rd, 2019, where Respawn gave away a free Pathfinder skin in the style of BP-1 from Star Wars Fallen Order to anybody who logged in from December the 3rd to January the 14th. This skin was not anything notable at all, but it was notable in the way that it was a Star Wars collab skin technically. Although really calling it a collab is a push, it was more of a promotion to Respawn's other game. For the next collab type items, we had to wait a year until November the 4th, 2020, when Respawn released Apex Legends to Steam, and with that release, had a crossover with Valve overall. And yes, I really mean Valve on a whole, as we got a Half-Life head crab Octane, which was really awesome, a GLaDOS potato charm, which is very cool if you're a Portal fan, and I guess having the GLaDOS potato attached to your gun makes a lot of sense, and we also got a Watson holding a companion cube from Portal as well, so it was a collab with Half-Life and Portal. Although, there's one thing a lot of people don't know about these charms. Originally, there was meant to be a fourth charm in the style of the Team Fortress 2 Intel case. This was scrapped for we don't know what reason, and the documentation on this is very sparse. I assume maybe they didn't finish off the Team Fortress one because Team Fortress is a hero-based combat game, and maybe Respawn didn't want to advertise what could be interpreted as their competition, although Team Fortress is definitely not their competition. A month later, on December the 11th, 2020, we got a Medal of Honor charm, which could be obtained if you had EA Play. Over the next few months after this, we would get loads of EA game-related charms like Mirror's Edge, Mass Effect, Dead Space, Star Wars, and even Titanfall charms. I covered the EA Play charms in this one section here so they don't fill up the timeline, because at the end of the day, EA Play charms aren't really collabs either. Although, a few months later, on March the 10th, 2021, our first real collab was leaked. This collab was going to be called the Chinatown Market collab, and it was Respawn collabing with a clothing brand. But this collab would not go to plan at all, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if what happened with this collab gave Respawn a bad taste and made them not want to do more collabs in the future, as only a few days before this collab was meant to come out, on the 30th of March, there was bad news. Chinatown Market as a brand had got into a lot of trouble because of their name, and as a result had to change the name of their company, which of course completely screwed over every skin, as they had the brand name Chinatown Market plastered all over them. Because of this, the skins were indefinitely delayed until the brands rebranded, and then Respawn could update the skins to the new brand's name. This would eventually happen, it just took a long time. In the meantime, while we were waiting for this, we got our first monster collab, which is infamous at this point because this monster collab introduced this badge here. This badge was so infamous because it required you to buy 45 cans of Apex Monster Energy to obtain. There were a few other items in this collab, including this Octane skin right here, this R301 skin right here, this Wraith skin right here, and several lower tiers of the 45 can badge. By all means, this collab was very successful, and it did have loads of people straight up buying 60 cans of Monster to get free stuff. I wish Respawn did this more, but as you'll see later on in this video, for some reason, the partnership between Apex and Monster wouldn't last long. As we entered the winter of 2021, the Chinatown Market collab would finally release under its new brand's name, Market. All of the skins in this collab did get changed from Chinatown Market to Market, and that was it. Regardless, these skins were very popular and are still popular to this day, but this crossover kind of revealed something to Respawn. At the end of the day, collabs are between two companies, and companies always run into issues, and Respawn probably weren't happy that they were at least partially tied to the drama surrounding the Chinatown Market brand when the drama arose. I'm pretty sure this did leave a bad taste in Respawn's mouths for skin crossovers, as it was a long time before we got our next major crossover. As we entered a new year, 2022, we got a new Apex collab. The thing is, this collab went the other way round, as instead of a game collabing with Apex, Apex, it was instead Apex collabing with another game, and it was an EA game, FIFA. This collab in March of 2022 saw FIFA getting Apex Legends related jerseys, and this was probably pretty cool if you played FIFA and Apex, but at the end of the day, Apex didn't get anything FIFA related, so it was a bit of a one-way crossover. It would have been cool if we got a football collection event. Now, I don't really care about football, but honestly, I know an Octane football skin would go crazy. As we moved on to late 2022, I think we started seeing the effects of Respawn not wanting to do actual collabs, as they did half-collabs. They basically made skins that were clear references to existing IP and media, but you know, weren't actual collabs, just very, very clear references. Like a Pacific Rim Caustic skin, like the full anime collection event, which was literally just reference skins, like the Marvel collection event, which had loads of Marvel references, and even an Alien vs Predator reference event. These reference events were really cool, but it did make people think, well, what if? What if Respawn didn't have to reference the skins off existing things and could just collab with the existing things? And in one of these events, we would even get a Chappie reference Pathfinder skin, which is funny because the creator of the Chappie movie made a tweet around the time Apex originally came out, actually interested in a Chappie reference skin. As we continued in 2022, we would get a second monster collab, which was also pretty cool. This time around, we got exclusive trackers and an exclusive Pathfinder skin. This kind of solidified in our minds that the monster collab was going to be a yearly thing. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the truth, as we would come to find out. Moving on to 2023 though, in April we got a Fallen Order spray to celebrate Respawn releasing Jedi Fallen Order, which was another Star Wars game. Unfortunately, we didn't get a skin this time around. And then we hit mid-2023. Now, for the last 2 years, the mid part of the year was when we would normally get the Monster Collab event, but it never came. And it literally just never came, so the Monster Collab events seem to be cancelled, which sucks, because we also didn't get one this year, 2024. And honestly, 2023 was pretty quiet. That was until the 7th of November, when we got our first proper collab event. This time, it was a collab with Post Malone. And not just a collab, it was a full event with an LTM, 3 strikes, yes, 3 strikes got introduced in the Post Malone event, a Post Malone sticker pack, and a collection of Post Malone related skins that came with a brand new rarity. These skins weren't mythic, they weren't legendary, instead they were this green rarity that is called Iconic. And from that point forward, this rarity would represent all future crossover skins. This event also brought loads of cool free stuff that was in the in-game event store, where you could use credits earned by playing the game to buy items. And even, it introduced these right here. These were tokens to enter sweepstakes to win a Post Malone Apex crossover jacket in real life, so you could play the game, earn credits in game, and then use that currency to buy this token, which would then enter you into a sweepstakes competition to win a custom Apex Post Malone jacket, which a few people actually won, received, and then tried to sell on eBay for an insane amount. This event was cool for several reasons. First of all, it was fun. Second of all, collabing with Post Malone wasn't like some weird soulless idea. Post Malone actually revealed himself as an Apex player several years before this event went live. So I think Respawn saw Post Malone enjoyed the game so much and were like, hey, you want to be in one of our events? And when his event came out, he did a stream playing with a load of content creators, which was just awesome to see. This seemed like a new beginning for Apex crossovers and collabs, and it was exciting. Respawn now had the infrastructure to create these events, with a new rarity and a new format, which had people wondering, what would be the next collab event? Well, we wouldn't have to wait long, because on January the 9th, 2024, we got the infamous Final Fantasy event, which was infamous because it was our first milestone event ever introduced to Apex, and also the first event to introduce universal heirlooms to the game. Now, I'm sure you've heard me complain enough about milestone events and why they're bad, so just take it at face value that this event introducing milestone events did get people a bit mad, but also strangely enough, there were loads of complaints from people about this event breaking immersion for Apex, which was strange because all of the skins were very Apex based. They weren't like some Fortnite thing where they just port the 3D model for the Incredibles into the game. These skins were clearly based off Final Fantasy characters, but tailored to our Apex characters. Now, this event was cool. Apparently it sold very well, but people were not happy with it at all. Not because it was a crossover event, but because it did introduce milestone events. Many people said they made it expensive and a milestone event because it cost Respawn a lot of money to initiate and get the licensing for collab events, but honestly, I don't really know. All I do know is that this was our last collab crossover event, whatever you want to call it, ever, which was pretty sad. And bad monetization aside, this event was very fun. It introduced the Buster Sword, which was such a fun weapon, and brought Apex a lot of publicity. It's now been a year since our last collab event, and right now in the files, there aren't any planned for the future, which sucks. I think Respawn have got really unlucky with collab events, because the first one had a giant failure out of Respawn's hands, and their most recent one was probably one of the most hated Apex events ever released, just because of how they chose to sell the skins. Will they ever do any more? Honestly, sometimes I question it, but they do have the infrastructure in the game, like the iconic tier, to do these. It just depends if Respawn want to do more of them. And with the bad press that has been surrounding Apex recently, the bigger question is, will companies want to collab with Apex? Of course everyone wants to collab with Fortnite, but would an IP like Naruto want to mix their name in with Apex, which is currently under a lot of fire? I'll leave that question to you.